Okay, so let's talk Christaller central place theory. So we're going to talk through it first, and then we'll draw it. So you have it on that notes handout, the PowerPoint. You have it drawn on there, but we're also going to draw it on your page in your BOK so that you can kind of label some parts and pieces. Okay, so all right, here we go. So Walter Christaller, he's German. Okay, it's all these German guys all the time. They're either German or they're British. Okay, so he's German, so it's important. Remember, we got to remember where they're from and when they're from. Okay, so 1930s. So he's more modern. Okay, so our more modern models and theories, you can really kind of relate them to today. Okay, so these are the highlights of the central place theory. Okay, so it's all about like picking the right spot for a new store. Okay, that's all it's about. Okay, but that is, and this is why it's capitalized, the single most important thing in making a profit. Okay, so your consumer service is whatever it is. Let's say it's a purple sock store. You have to figure out where to locate your purple sock store. Okay, maybe next to TCU might be a good idea. I don't know. Okay, so you've got to figure out the place where you're going to make the most profit, and some things go into that. And so we've kind of touched on that with Weber's theory, and we'll look at that again with Hotelling and Lusch. But this is kind of looking at the parts and pieces of figuring that out. Okay, so a central place it's just in the center. Okay, that's all it means. All right, so it's in the like for central, that's center. Okay, so it's in the center of a market area. Okay, and so this is where all kinds of stores and services and things you can buy are all going to be there, and they're all going to compete against each other. Okay, but each little one serves as its own center. Okay, and I'm telling you that because if you look at all the craziness of Christaller's central place theory that you have on your PowerPoint, it looks crazy, okay? But it's really like each one of those dots is a store, okay, or a market area. All right, so that's why I'm kind of explaining it like that, so that you understand that. Okay, so the important thing is that you want to make the most profit, but you want to have the most customers, okay? So you've got to be in the right spot to get the people to you, and so that they'll go to your store and spend their money at your store, okay? That's the most important thing that we're trying to figure out here. Okay, so then here's his assumption. So these are things that he's assuming. So remember, assumptions are always like, if this is perfect, then this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so the surface is flat, so no crazy mountains or rivers or big bodies of water, nothing like that you have to cross to get to this particular store. Okay, so nice, flat, good surface. Okay, soil fertility is the same everywhere. Okay, so soil fertility would be the same everywhere. So the opportunity to farm or not farm, it would be the same, whichever side that is. Okay. Population, so the people. Okay, and purchasing power. So that's just money. Okay, how much money you have. Okay. So the people and how much money they have is the same, and they're evenly distributed. Okay, so it would follow almost like a pattern. So there'd be a person here in a nice, neat area, and then a person over here in a nice, neat area. Okay, so everything is all equal, and it's even, and it looks good. The region has a uniform transportation network. Okay, so when you're considering that, consider everything: roads, access to cars, or even if you're going to do public transportation, access to that too. So everybody has access to it. They can afford it. It's good. It runs on time. You run on time, all that stuff. Okay, so all of that is good. Okay, and then from any given place, a good or service can be sold in all directions out to a certain distance. Okay, and it's equal. Okay, so all the arrows would go out, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second when we draw it. Okay, so all of that is easily accessible to everyone, and it can get to everyone easily. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so these are the parts and pieces of what we're about to draw. And I want you just to kind of internalize this for a second, because when we draw it, this way you don't have to write out the definitions of what each thing is. It's already here for you. Okay, so we're going to look at the market area, okay, or hinterland. Get kind of used to that term, hinterland. It's just a fancy way of saying like what's around, okay? Okay, so get used to that term hinterland. And also, so think of hinterland, nodal region. Okay, these are all fancy AP Hug terms. Okay, just know that they're interchangeable. Okay. So anyway, so this area is the area that's surrounding the service that the store that you're going to go to. Okay, this is where all the customers want to come in. All right. Then you have range. Okay, range is going to be like your borders in just a second when we draw those. So this is the max amount of distance. Okay, this means that they're not going to go any further than this. Okay, so this is the max amount of distance that a customer is willing to travel to get to your store. Okay, so anything longer than that, and they're just going to go somewhere else. Okay, and that's why it kind of takes on a hexagon shape. So you'll see that in just a second. Okay, threshold is another one that we'll label. All right, threshold is the minimum amount of people, amount of customers, okay, that is needed for your store to exist. Okay, if you don't have that minimum amount, it's not going to be profitable. It's not enough. Okay, so then it wouldn't make. Okay, and then the last thing, a trade area is an adjacent region within which a city or town's influence is dominant. Okay, so this is just how to explain? So like how far a city is willing to trade. Okay, so how far it's going to go. All right, does that make sense? Yes? No? Yes? Okay. All right, so let's draw. Okay, so on your paper, just draw a hexagon, not too big, okay, but just big enough so that you can draw some stuff in it and you can label some things. Okay, so hexagon. Okay, so get your hexagon there on the page.
It's the whole page. That's not a hexagon. Yeah.
Oh, did I draw too many things?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if you want to be all technical. Whatever. I'm not done. Oh, it doesn't count. Whatever, just draw a stop sign. Whatever, just draw this. A hexagon has 6 sides. That's a hexagon.
Yeah, but the first one you draw was.
Okay, so get that drawn, and then let's go ahead. The first thing that we're going to label is our store. Okay, so do a little dot in the middle there. Okay, so that dot, that's your central place. Okay, so see, it's right there in the center, your central place. So this is your consumer service, whatever it is. Okay, whether it's a restaurant, it's a store, whatever. Okay, that's where it's going to be, right there in the center. Okay, so there's that. We labeled that. Okay, and then remember, you have a range. Okay, and remember, range is as far as a customer is going to travel to get to your store, your service. Okay, so just kind of draw over one of your sides and make it a little more bold. Okay, so that's range. Okay, and then remember we also had threshold. So threshold is the minimum number of people required for your business to be successful. Okay, so just draw a few stick figure guys. Okay, so all of these guys will be part of the threshold. Okay, and then so now the next thing we need is market area. So all I'm going to do is just kind of put some lines through here. So all of this area is your market area. Okay, so remember, another word for market area could be hinterland, or it could be what? Nodal, the nodal region. Okay, all fancy AP Hug terms, same thing though. Okay, hinterland or nodal region. Okay, now, so here's the thing. So if you're kind of comparing what you just drew to what is on your PowerPoint slide, so what happens is that area right there in the center, your consumer service, your central place, your store, whatever it is. Okay, so that is just one of many that exist. Okay, so if you're, and this is also in your textbook too, but you look at that and it's going to be hexagon upon hexagon upon hexagon, and then they're all going to be side by side. Okay, so really it would be like, there's another one. Okay, and then it goes, and then there would be even another one here, right? Okay, there would be another one here. Okay, and so on and so on and so on. And each one has their own little center consumer service. Okay, so it's kind of like you would think of, even just right here next to Wakeland, just down the street where Target is. Target could be like a central place. Okay, it's the consumer service. All right, but then Market Street could be another one too. Okay, so when stores figure out where they're going to open, okay, that's the stuff that they look at. They look at how many people live there. So how many customers could they possibly be servicing? Okay, they look at how far maybe the next type of store of their kind is, or maybe just even the next store that is theirs is. Okay, so this is kind of like if you were to think about Starbucks. Okay, you know how there's Starbucks everywhere, all right? But think about it. When you go to Starbucks, you just want to be in and out, right, to get a coffee, okay, or a tea or whatever, pastry. Okay, so you want to get in, you want to get out. Okay, but so that's why they put so many different Starbucks, because they need their consumer service to be quick and easy. So if there's more, they can accomplish that. Okay, plus let's think about it. Most people go to Starbucks on their way to where? Yeah, work or school, right? Okay, so are you willing to travel a super far distance to get that? No. Okay, so you have to think about those things. Okay, now there's always exceptions, right? There's always like that one store that's your favorite that you're willing to spend some time in the car for, right? Okay, but when you're just getting groceries, or when you're getting gas, or when you're getting coffee in the morning, this central place theory, Christaller central place theory, becomes really important to that business to try to figure out, because they know we're always on the go. So how far are they going to be willing to travel? Okay, how can I get people to go to our Market Street instead of going to Target? Okay, so does that make sense, Christaller's theory? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, good.